And thanks. It's good to talk to you again, by the way. Like,
yeah, 100%. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
I told my wife, I was like, I said, I miss talking to this guy, man. He's just a good fucking guy. And so I was like, I'm glad we got a chance to connect, even if it wasn't a podcast. I was just like, this guy's just a good dude, man. You're one of the real ones, Charlie. I got to tell you that. And I'm really impressed with what you've done and how genuine you are. And like from the day I saw you in that it looked like a little grass hut. My wife always says it looked like you were in this little grass hut when I met you at first with Vince's, right? And I said, you should see this guy. I said, he's literally so consistent. And I watched one of your videos, and I have to give you such a massive shout out. I watched one of your videos. It was on how you do your boosting and your Facebook ads. That's what it was. And I'm like you. I like to learn. If somebody's doing something and I'm like, well, shit, I never knew how to do that. I just look. I don't have an ego where I'm like, well, I don't care. I just want to know. And I watched the video and I said to Brandy afterwards, I said, I watched one of Charlie's videos. I'm like, the dude's sharp. I'm like, the dude's really sharp. He nailed it like from cover to cover, and you made it really easy to understand. So keep doing it, man. Like you're doing so well. I'm really proud of you, man.
I appreciate that because it's interesting to even go into that because you've seen me from probably back in the day when I used to work out the office shed I had in my garden.
Yeah.
And that shows like people see the reality now. I live in Dubai and all this other fancy shit, but they don't see like the consistency over years to then get to that point.
So long, like how long? And I think that's it. Like one of my buddies, this guy Judd, he's an ex-NFL guy, trainer, really actually a good writer, and he does some crazy stuff with training, some really kind of obscure stuff that people, he gets a little static for it. But I'm like, dude, the guy's 45 and athletic as hell. The guy can run, jump like a 22-year-old. So I'm like, listen to the guy. He knows what he's doing, right? But he made a post the other day where he said, you guys are all complaining about where you're at. And you're whining about where you're at, going, well, I've been at this for so long. I've been at this for 3 months. How come I don't look like them? How come I don't have the money like they do? How come, I followed Charlie's blueprint. I followed, the Spartan's blueprint. And a month in, how come I don't have a $300,000 watch? How come I'm not living in Dubai? How come not like, and he went, listen, you guys, and then you side eye your coach. And you side-eye your trainer, and you side-eye the people that are giving you all the information because you think it's an information problem. It's not an information problem. Most programs work, to be honest. Most training programs work. Most coaching programs work. It's the person doesn't work. The program works, you don't. And he said it's like you go to a forest, and it takes you 20 swings to knock down a tree with this axe. And you swing for it. It takes you like an hour. And you're hammering away on this thing, trying to get this tree to knock down. And then he says, well, look at all the hard work I did. And your boss comes up and goes, cool, hands you the axe back and goes, there's 85 more. And you're like, oh my God, like it takes so much longer than you think to get the lumber required to build the building that you want. And yet people go, I want it now because we're in this instant gratification, society. And people want to start at the finish line. You can't, man. You're a good example.
I'm not innately talented. I'm just very driven and very willed just to keep going. And it's like,
you're consistent.
I'll give you an example. So like YouTube is one of the big things I want to crack. You've done phenomenally well on that. And there's a guy I was working with YouTube. It's like, dude, I don't care. It's like, I'll make a video every day if you tell me it's the best thing to do. And we did it for like 4 or 5 weeks. We made a YouTube video every single day we posted. Mm-hmm. And like, I would have happily kept doing it till now, but he's like, you actually don't need to do this that much at this point. And I think that's where, for me, like volume negates luck. If you do enough of something, you eventually get good, and then eventually you get lucky.
You get lucky.
Yeah,
you get lucky. That's exactly it. And so it's funny because thank you for the YouTube thing. It's hilarious. Is somebody asked me, they're like, how did you get? And you and I both know, like when someone goes, oh, you have 100,000 followers on YouTube, that's a lot. When you have 200, that's a lot. When you have 1 million, that's insane. But these people are used to seeing like the Mr. Beasts and the Fearlesses and all these guys that come on, they're like, well, they have like 100 million followers. I go, yeah, but you're missing the point, right? You're missing the point. Number one, they are in the entertainment business. So entertainment trumps everything else because people want to sit there and be sedated. They want to sit there and not do what we're doing, right? Like we go to the gym. I train every day and I always get people going, well, you're overtraining. I go, that's a word invented by a writer. There's no such thing. No such thing. Because I David Goggins is training infinitely harder than me. And I train hard as hell. And I will happily say I'm probably one of the hardest training people in the world. And yet at the same time, I don't train like he does. And he ain't overtraining. God built a good machine. But people forget, like they've been so desensitized to success. You know, they see the Lambos and the jets and the success and the big channels, and they go, well, I'm not there. You're right, because you're comparing yourself to somebody instead of going, how did they get there? And you have to be consistent. Like my YouTube was an accident. Nobody knows that. My people go, what? I go, my YouTube, if you look at all my old YouTube videos, Charlie, they are so bad. And the audio is so bad, the video is so bad, and even better, I didn't make a thumbnail. My thumbnail is whatever YouTube picked because I didn't even know they did that. I would film my videos on the way home sometimes, or I'd edit my videos. This is so bad. I would be driving down Highway 4 on the way to my house after I filmed a video at CSA after work, editing it with one hand, driving with the other. So just because I was so obsessed with going every day. You post every damn day. But what's wild is I never once, and my biggest claim to fame on YouTube is that I never asked for any money. Like I never asked people for anything. I just kept showing up and helping people. And I get hundreds and hundreds of messages still to this day of people going, dude, I thought, is this guy going to ask me for something? And you never did. It was awesome. World's Strongest Man, Travis Ortmeyer. Yeah. And Gary Pantilla, both of those guys, they send me messages. Gary just did a podcast with me. He goes, I would not have won the world title 5 times going on to number 6 if it wasn't for you. I'm like, that's a pretty big shout out, man. He goes, I was done. He goes, I found your videos by accident. And I thought, holy, all right, I'll try this. And then it worked. And then I did another one. Then it worked. And then I did. And he goes, and you never once asked me for money, man. I go, no, I want you to win. And I think the world is so tainted with people that go, I want you to win, Charlie. I do. But I want you to win more if you give me $100,000. What if I make you win so well that you turn around and go, dude, I got to give this guy like $100,000. He's helping me kick ass. That's a better way. Now, yeah, you should ask for the sale. But at the same time, most people don't. They come out of the gate going, give me money, and then I'll help you. That's why you're failing.
And that's very much my approach, is to give so much value that people almost feel indebted. That, like, I actually had someone say it to me on a sales call last year. He was like, to be honest with you, I've like copied so much of your stuff and followed so much of your stuff. I just owe you money anyway, so I need to sign up.
Dude, but that's awesome. And you're a likable guy. Like you're just a likable dude. You got a genuine heart. You're probably, like I said at the beginning, you're probably one of the most real people I've ever met. Because even when I met you in person, I'm like, you're the same. You're just the same guy. Do you know how valuable that is, though? Because a lot of people have a persona, right? They go online and who you see on here, that's not who they are. I am the same guy everywhere I go. People ask my wife all the time, like, is he really like this? Yeah, it's easier. I don't have to maintain a facade. And I think people make these hyper-produced videos with all kinds of editing and B-rolls and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. Listen, I mad props to doing that. But I think a lot of times, like my best videos are these ones. You know, I was driving and it just kind of came to me. I'm like, why are you guys not fighting for what you want? Like I literally just start talking and then I go post and people ask, how do you fit it all into 60 seconds? I go, you want the secret? Don't tell anybody. I don't. I keep talking. It sometimes takes me 10 minutes to get my point. And then I go, now chop it up into 60 seconds. And then I take that and I do this. Now it's a YouTube video. Like I don't complicate it. And I think that's where everybody's looking for the next thing. And you probably have clients like that where they come to you and they go, okay, listen, Charlie, I went through this last coach. Oh, this guy sucked. I thought he was going to help me succeed. And this guy knew nothing. And I was so pissed off. I just wanted to get my money back, but he wouldn't give me my money back or she wouldn't give me my money back. And they just, all their stuff didn't work and it's all dated. And I'm so glad I found you. And then a month later, they're like, you know, your stuff's not working. It's because you're not doing the work. You think that like there's a couch right over there in this studio. You think you could sit on that couch all day and make $1 million a year. I work 16-hour days.
And you do that because you want to, not you have to, which is the difference.
Correct. I love doing what I
fun.
could make content all day because I love doing it.
So this is the same thing with me. I can make more videos than we can post.
Yeah, all day.
So, like I can make 3 YouTube videos there happily.
Yeah, and that's exactly but that's because we're doing, that's such a good point to make, dude, because we can take something, whatever it is. Like I make a lot of videos about getting your head right and understanding the fundamentals of business, going, listen, if you want to have business work, you don't need to track 100 metrics. You need to track 3, right? If you want to make some money, you need to stop being so nebulous about your stuff and just focus on one thing and just keep drilling down on that. Eventually you're going to make money. If you want to make money, you need to stop copying people and doing the same things that they're doing all the time and then wondering why you're not successful. It's because every time you do that, you trigger somebody else's subconscious to go, yeah, but that person looks like that guy over there. Like I love Wes. I was actually just talking to him this morning. He's a successful guy. When somebody hates on someone that's successful, all I hear is, my dick is this big and I have no security with myself.
Jealousy.
It is such a weak thing. And what's interesting is it's primarily in North America, because like I talk to people all over the world, just like you, but I see more of it here than anywhere else because people go, they get so mad and it's tolerated. I think that's why it's tolerated. Like people can come into your comments and they drop a bunch of hate. And I go, but how did that make your life better? In 10 years of being online, Charlie, I've never gone into someone's feed, never, and dropped hate, not once. Number one, I don't have the time. And number two is nobody feels good when they go out and just shit all over somebody's life. They're doing it because they want to feel better about themselves. And they think if they can reduce you, it'll make them feel better, right? Because people look at you through 2 lenses, your position in their life and their position in yours. And if your life changes and elevates in relation to theirs, they attack you because they don't like where they are, because it's going, oh, hold on, let me take a mirror and show you exactly where you're at. And then they go, I don't like that at all. And then they get pissed off at you. But like, I look at a guy like Wes, a guy came out with $200, created an empire. And the one thing I say about the guy is he says it like it is. But the problem is people come out and they go, well, people don't like the truth because it doesn't feel good because it exposes where you're at and who you are. Right. Yeah. And I think the biggest problem is, though, there's a lot of little West zealots out there now. Right. They're trying to, I'm going to show my cars, I'm going to show my watches, and I'm going to show this. I got nothing wrong with that. I think you should show success. I really do. Anybody listening, flex your wins, because otherwise you wouldn't be watching sporting events, you dumbasses. So people are like, oh, I like when my team won. It's not your team, and they won, and you're happy. So let me get this straight. You're happy because they won, but you're not happy when you see a person win? You're kind of a pussy, right? And so I look at it and I go, like you, I wouldn't care if you made $100 million a year and you made me look broke. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, dude, that's bad. How? That's what the winners do, is they go, oh, wait, they're doing it better than me? Let me take notes, and I'm just going to shut up. Keep talking. I'm just going to shut up.
Keep curious.
Like it's a weird thing that people come in and get mad that they're not successful because they didn't follow the recipe. You didn't play the game right. That's why you're not winning.
Do you think people are even trying to play the right game? Because I see too many people are almost, they're playing chess, not checkers, if that makes sense, or the other way around. Like just,
other way around, checkers, not chess.
They're checkers, not chess.
You're right.
Like they're playing the vanity game on a lot of things rather than looking.
That's all they're doing.
What they want and why.
They have I think a lot of people, and this might rub people the wrong way, but I think a lot of people, they don't have some divine purpose, right? They don't have a purpose for what they do. Their purpose is material. Now, listen, I want everybody to be rich. I do. I think, like, I have a couple of friends of mine that are billionaires. One of my buddies, Howie, he sold Logic brand for like $3 billion. So and if people, they don't understand, because they hear the word 3 billion and they've, like I said, they've been so desensitized that they go, yeah, but a 3 billion, let me expand what 3 billion really is, people. The US has about, 330 million people, give or take. If I have 3 billion and I give every single human being in the United States $1 million cash, I still have $2.67 billion, and everybody in the U.S. is now a millionaire. So when people go, like, I don't think they can grasp the concept of just how much money that really is, number one. But number two is they get mad when they don't have it right away. They go, I only made 30 grand this month. Yeah, but last year you made $30,000 at your job. So I think you're doing okay. Like it's so, but I want people to be rich, but it's the method on how they do it. Because I think a lot of people come out and they try and copy versus understand the principle behind what somebody's doing and then emulate it, right? Because if I try and copy exactly what you're doing because I want to have the exact same results as you, well, I don't look like you. I don't act like you. I'm not you. I don't have the hair like you. I don't live in the place you do. I don't conduct myself the same way as you. What I can, so I will never be you. The best thing I can be is a watered down version of Charlie. But that's not going to make me successful. That's going to make me a watered down version of Charlie. So instead, I have to go, what does Charlie do? What does he do? Okay, well, he does this for his marketing. He does this for how he interacts with clients. This is his onboarding. This is how he does his posts. This is how he conducts himself in his life. This is how he treats his wife. This is where they go for dinner. This is how he trains. This is his sleep schedule. Like I look at all your habits and I go, run those on repeat. And people go, I'm going to run some of them. Well, that's why you're not going to win. You will have some of the success, but I also have to have my reason. See, I can emulate everything you got, but if my reason is not the same as yours, if my reason is I just want to get rich, it's a lot harder because people feel that. When I get on a call and somebody goes, this guy just wants my money, it's a different vibe than if I get on a call and I go, dude, your life is burning to the ground. We need to fix this now, or you may as well just buy a gun and a bullet because this is a bad, bad situation. And they're either going to get offended or go, you're the first person that's actually been honest with me and not tried to sell me a program. I'm not trying to sell you a program. I'm trying to save your damn life. So we can do that. And that's what I like. Like when I woke up 3 years ago, I was different. And I have people go, where's that guy that was all jolly? I'm like, I died on an operating table. I remember looking down. I was about 20 feet up in a black and white room with about 100 to 200 beds in it with people. And I've told this story so many times and people are like, what? I go, and I was my overhead view of me and I kept trying to sit up. And this, I call her a nurse because I think it was a nurse, kept pushing me down going, this one keeps trying to sit up. Well, when I came to in the recovery room and there's no such room in the hospital. And it wasn't in black and white. And all of that. And then I find out when I read my chart later that they nicked my aorta. The surgery took 45 minutes longer. And there were some really bad things that happened to Trevor. So I'm like, there was a reason why I'm still here. There's a reason why I do what I do. And there's a reason why I take life significantly more seriously. Because I don't have the time. Like when I talk to people and they go, oh, hey, you want to just, I got a guy send me a message yesterday. It was, hey man, just seeing what's up. Do you want? He's like my neighbor right over there, right? And he's like, do you want to? When's a good time to come by? I want to catch up and like just chat and kind of like see where you're at and everything. And I'm going, never. And it wasn't to be a dick. It was just like I said, I'm not going to do that. That's okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And he's like, well, I just want to catch up. I go, listen, Vince. His name's Vincent. And I said, I like you, man. But he's always over there. He's like a 55-year-old man. He's always Trevor. Hey, he's like a little kid. It's weird. And I think he sees the cars and the life, and I really don't know. And I said, if it doesn't increase my network or my net worth, I said, I don't have the time. I said, I'm 51. I have to look at my life as priceless, and my clock is ticking, and my job is to help and save and fix as many people as I can before I go. I can't do that if I'm sitting in a doorway bullshitting about what coffee I had today. It's not going to help my life. I go, and that's why people struggle, is they put filler in and they call it activity.
What do you think is the biggest mindset issue most people have as entrepreneurs?
Oh, wow. As an entrepreneur, delay of gratification. They're weak. They're so weak with the delay of gratification.
It's in just a lack of patience to get where they want to be.
No patience. None. No. So there's a couple of things. No patience. A lot of comparison. And the fact that they deserve more success than they really should get because they haven't put the work in. Their idea of work is not the same as you and I. Their idea of work is I did it for 3 hours, and they fill their days with a lot. It's a really good question, actually. They fill their days with a lot of busy work. So they create the illusion of work to feel like they're doing something, yet they have no production at the end of the day. So they go, like if I look at this desk in my studio and it's really clean, but let's say it has stuff everywhere, right? Well, if I clean it up by the end of the day, because I actually have a bunch of, let's say I have a bunch of podcasts I have to film, and I have to talk to clients, and I have some one-on-ones I got to handle. And, I have to go to, jujitsu with my son, and I have all these things that I have to do, but they're all stacking and they're kind of boring. Well, I get overwhelmed because all I'm doing is I'm trying to shove everything I can through the hourglass at the same time. Never going to work. One grain of sand at a time. And then the other one is I go, I can't handle it. So I start cleaning my desk, and I clean my office, and I clean my studio. And when I'm done, I feel accomplished. I cleaned all my stuff. I got this stuff done, but it gave me nothing. There's no production there. It's like going outside to wash your car when you don't have any money and you should be actually hustling sales. But you placate yourself that you actually did work, but the work has no value. And I think what people need to do is look at high consequence and no consequence work. And you have to, and I've told people, I go, take a piece of paper, put a line down the center. I did this on a coach call on Saturday. And I said, take this about 2 months ago, and write high consequence and no consequence. And then start writing down all the behaviors that you have throughout the day. No consequence behavior costs you time, money, energy, and produces nothing. But they're entertaining, and they give you escape, and they give you distraction. Like I tell people, go on here and look at how long you've been on the screen. I bet it's longer than you think. And what have you searched? And then the other side of the equation is go high consequence behavior, and high consequence produces the results you want. And most people avoid those high consequence actions and high consequence behaviors because, well, they're uncomfortable, but yet they are the ones that produce the results. So you have to go, if I only, like, I take away all my options, and this took me doing this. Charlie, I thought I was killing it before I went into the hospital, and I realized I was being killed by it. I had the Ferrari and the Lamborghini and the big house and the pool and all this stuff. And yet I was a miserable person, and I still had the same problems as when I lived in my car. And I went, so it had nothing to do with what I had. They didn't fix my problems. The problems were in here. And I realized it's because I kept doing useless, busy work that didn't help me anywhere. And you know it. At the end of your day, we've done it. You've done it. I've done it. You get to the end of your day, and you're super busy. And you're so exhausted. And the end of your day, you look at your day, and you've gone, I've done nothing. I haven't made $1. I haven't lost the weight. I haven't fixed my marriage. I haven't trained this. I haven't done all the things that I really need to do, but I did all the things that I wanted to do. Eliminate your options. I think a lot of online entrepreneurs in general, they're not entrepreneurs. They're wantrepreneurs, and they fill their day with options. But the only way I've ever been successful is by taking away my options. The only option I have is high consequence. What's the end result? Then only do things that take me that direction. And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people because they go, well, but you need a break. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do because somebody told you do. It's like when parents go, well, you got to let them be a kid. Your kid's 15 and he's still playing with little cars, man. He doesn't need to be a kid anymore. He needs to get out and get a damn job. Teach him, because you're screwing him up for your own validations. And I think that's what costs people is they want the results right away. It goes back to chopping down that tree. They want the results right away. They think they should start at the finish line and that they should get the giant trophy and the big bank account, but they never show up to practice. They never show up and do the work. It's the boring, consistent stuff that you and I do every day that if anyone followed us around, I guarantee you people will be like, dude, your day's boring. Yeah. People ask me all the time. They're like, do you do anything different when you train? No. Yeah, but I've had this. Well, yeah, but come on. Working out and fitness is supposed to be fun. No, it's not. No, I'm sorry. I disagree. Doing things to become fit and athletic isn't fun. What I can do with being fit and athletic is fun. Not the same. I do anywhere between 200 and 500 pull-ups a day. I do between 200 and 500 push-ups a day. Every morning I do 100 pull-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and 100 bicycles. Every day. I never miss. I did them before I got on this call. And there's people go, well, so that's your workout? No. I don't even think about it as a workout. Well, it's got to take forever. It takes me like maybe 12 minutes, 15 minutes tops. Used to take me a half an hour. And I started off with one, right? Like I started with one. But people go, where are you now? They'll look at you and go, well, look at him. He's got the crazy watch and the beautiful view. This is a killer view, by the way. He's got the killer view. He's got the life. He's living in Dubai. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got this amazing life. I'm going to sign up with Charlie's program. And these guys are still living in a tiny little hovel in Queens. And they're like, well, Charlie, I've been in your program for a month, man. How come I'm not living in Dubai yet? And you're like, because it took me 8 years to get here. You're comparing your day one to my day 10,000. And entrepreneurs, it's the problem with social media. It's such a double-edged sword, man. Because the problem with social media is it desensitizes you to the work actually required. Because all you see are the highlights. But yet those highlights, that took a whole bunch of effort to get to. Like, I look at you, by the way, you put on weight, man. Like, you're jacked as hell, man. Holy shit. I said to Brandy, I said, do you remember him being this big? I go, this guy's a savage, man. Like, you look jacked as hell. Keep going. Whatever you're doing, keep going. It's weird, right?
It's funny, actually. So now I'm at the point where I don't want to get any bigger. I'm now getting into martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing really heavily. But just
I caught that video the other day.
Yeah, dude.
That size is going to slow you down, man.
Yeah, but it's strength. But the big thing for me is like you want to be like undeniable in every area of life, like
absolutely.
Financially, physically, like no one can test you in any realm. And from my perspective, that's important as a man. You should have every base covered. Where I think a lot of people are very one-dimensional. They're like financially strong, but their body's a piece of shit, or they're a trainer who's in great shape. They're an IFBB pro, but they're IFBB broke. They've got no money.
Yep, there's a lot of those, man. And their relationship is trashed. They don't know how to conduct themselves with their marriage, and I see that a lot. I see people, they're so focused on their success that they forget that they're married. I go, my wife said to me one time, Charlie, it was probably one of the most powerful things she said. And I mean, we've been together 19 years. She's my best friend. You've seen us together. She is my best friend, hands down. She's my best friend. And I just adore Brandy. Like, fuck, I was trying not to drop any F-bombs. I just put money in the swear jar now, but it's like, I just adore her. She's such an amazing woman. And I remember her saying something to me one time, and it really stuck because I thought, and I had done it. She goes, I just want you to include me. I just never want to get left behind. And I remember I used to fly overseas all the time, right? I used to go to China, Shanghai and Bangkok and Singapore because I have a company over in China. And I used to go there a couple of times a month, all the time. And she would stay home. We had little kids, right? Our kids were a lot younger. And I would ask her if she wanted to go. And she's like, nah, and our kids were in school and all that stuff. So it was like, no. But, when you're gone, you got 2 days of travel right out of the gate because it takes forever to get there. It's like 14-hour flight and all this stuff. And I would send her messages and the time delay just like this and all that stuff. And I realized I was doing because I thought I was killing it to help her. Right. I'm like, I'm building this. It's Body Hacks. It's this great company. It's everywhere. I'm doing all these seminars. We've got 4,000 people in this one, made all this money and helping all these people. And yet at the same time, I realized the one person I wasn't helping was my wife. And I'm like, so you make all this money, but you treat your foundation like garbage. It doesn't matter then. Like, I have become so much more unstoppable by going, sorry, it's the two of us against the world. It's easier because when you share your victories with your spouse, the real test is that you also get to share the shitty things. Right? And I think that's where people screw up is you said it. They're successful. And you can even say it this way. They're successful, but they're not undeniable. They're successful in certain areas, but they're a train wreck in most areas. But that eats away at a man. Because if you look at yourself in the mirror, nobody who's fat likes it. Right? Nobody who's fat likes it. Nobody who's broke likes it. Do we have a choppy signal?
No, it's fine. Riverside.
Okay. I was just going to say, because I have Elon Musk sitting right over here too, my Starlink, so I can always jump on that if it's my end.
That's all good.
By the way, everybody listening, get Starlink. That's all I tell you. Best $120 a month you'll ever spend.
100%. I think one thing with the US, do you think the population and their perspective is getting weaker in terms of their ability to be at a high level with everything?
Yeah. We were just talking about this morning. So every morning my wife and I go for coffee, right? Same time, same thing. Like, look, my routine is so dull. People go, dude, your life is so awesome. I go, dude, my routine is so dull. You couldn't stand being with me for an hour. You'd lose your shit. But they're weak. And I don't mean weak. And people get really mad about that. But I think people get angry when their lack of accountability, they're hiding behind their excuses, right? Their lack of accountability is exposed in their environment, their ecosystem. And people get mad that they're not successful because they don't want to do the hard work, and they know it's because they're not choosing to do the hard work. Well, so instead they find somebody else to compare themselves to. I think what people do is they go, listen, I'm here. I don't like that I'm here. But instead of going, like if I was at a really low level, I wanted to be an online trainer, and I call Charlie. And I go, okay. Well, I'm looking at somebody that's playing the game at a higher level than me. Why, if I'm an online trainer, why would I not do that? That's what the smart people do. But the U.S. population, it's actually, you hit it on the head, doesn't look for the higher level. They look for the lower level, and then they compare themselves to these people, and they go, but I'm doing better than Carol down the street. And then all of a sudden you start reducing your behavior, and now you're at the same level as Carol. And so you're like, well, now I have to compare myself to someone lower. And it's a race to the bottom to become this most low-level version of yourself until you are the person that everybody's comparing themselves to get to the bottom. They're going the wrong direction. And it's being like, they're just like fanning the flames with media and social media and news and everything. And it's disgusting because it's not how we're designed as humans.
And I actually think it's even worse in people in the fitness industry, is my opinion.
Oh,
I think obviously I'm from the fitness industry, and obviously I see that very heavily, as do you. But I think that is manipulated people's mindsets so heavily by social media and puts people into such a weird perspective of the reality of what they should do and how they should present themselves rather than just being themselves.
Well, I think about, you're right. I think people, it goes back to what I said earlier, where I said people create this persona. But you have to be a character. But if you're constantly, this is where the problem comes from. If you're constantly sending a representative out into the world, what happens when the world calls on you? You got nobody, because you've been sending out a representative on social media, but that's not even how you are, and you don't even know how to conduct yourself. And then people start to believe their own lies. And then they start to conduct themselves in a way that's not their original selves. I hate the word authentic. It drives me nuts because everybody's like, I have to be authentic. I'm authentically this. Dude. Most people that go, I'm so authentic, aren't authentic. You know, these are the guys that stand. Listen, before anyone says anything, I just got baptized last Saturday. My dad was a preacher. I 100% believe in God. I have talked to God every day, and the guy saved my life. However, when I see someone in a church and I see pictures of someone in a church with their hands up, what's your cameraman doing in church? That's not authentic. Because when I got videoed for my baptism, I threw my camera to my daughter and I said, just get this on tape, on video, because I'm never doing this again. That's it. And it's gritty, it's grainy, it's from a shitty angle. Like, I was just like, film it. I don't care. Just keep your thumb out of the lens. You know, like and I only did it because I wanted to share it with people, but I'm not trying to go, look how authentic I am. And I think that's the problem, is people try and push that I'm so authentic, and that's very prevalent in the fitness industry. Look how authentic I am. Look at how I train. I train better. This is my favorite. If you do anabolic steroids, you're cheating. You didn't earn those results. Are you high? Are you actually that stupid? And the only people that say that are either the ones that have done out at PEDs and stopped. You know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. No, yeah, you're laughing because you're like, yup, I do. Because all of a sudden he's up on a soapbox. And I'm like, this is why you're failing. This is why you're failing. I'll just say that. I'm watching somebody burn their whole life to the ground. It's partly heartbreaking and partly going, you're doing it to yourself, you moron. But number one is, or they don't want to put in the work and they need to justify why they don't have the results. Because everybody I know that is on large levels of performance-enhancing drugs, number one is they did a study on testosterone, and it was 17,000 people. They were on it for a year. No incidence of disease, no incidence of any catastrophic injury or failure. And like their entire health perspective was so massive. But why would the public want you to know that when the public is built on the framework of disease? Because it'll put people out of business. So I'll tell everybody, I'll go on record to say it. If you aren't on TRT and your testosterone is low, get your ass on TRT because it'll save your life. If people are going, what about Arnold and his quadruple bypass? First of all, The guy was taking like 2,000 milligrams a week, if not more. He was a pro bodybuilder. The guy weighed like 250 pounds. Your heart's the size of your fist, knucklehead. Okay, that's oxidative stress. You want to get into physiology? I've been a doctor for 25 years. I'll go toe to toe all day long. But it's the idea that they go out and they go, it's easy and it's cheating and you can sit on a couch and eat potato chips and milk duds all day and get jacked. Everybody I know that's on PEDs works 10 times harder than anybody else I've ever seen. Make hay when the sun is shining, man. It's not cheating. It allows you to recover a little faster, but it allows you to perform more. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. While these guys are like this, oh, you're cheating.
And drinking and recreational drugs and
fucking
everything else.
Bozos. Oh, I said it again. Damn it, that's 2 F-bombs. I was trying to keep it clean for you.
And this is, for me, I think, is where I'm a maximalist. I want the maximum of everything for life. I want physically to perform at the highest level, like mentally to perform at the highest level.
Great way of looking at it, man.
Like, max everything out. I don't want to play in the mediocre of where everyone else is. And interestingly, sure. I had low testosterone at like 26, 27. Shuffled off with like mentally with confidence and things like that. Started TRT and extra at some points. Yeah. And my
but who cares?
mentality completely changed. I then became very driven, became very confident, and then suddenly became successful because your hormones reflect how you think, right? And how you feel.
It's this self-propagating. You're so right. It's a self-propagating cycle. I'm sure somebody's going to hear this and go, "Oh, you're condoning it. That's the secret to success." Well, I'll tell you this: if the secret to success was TRT, there'd be a lot more successful people. But if the secret to success is the habits created by going to the gym and creating the most savage version of yourself, well, the habits in the gym are the same ones that you'd have in success in business. They're the same ones, like your focus, your drive, your obsession, your discipline, your consistency. Those are all traits and habits you're going to have in your business, in your marriage, in your life, in how you repair your car. They're all the same. If you leave, people are notorious for leaving things undone. They will do something and then they punch out at 5 o'clock. I go, but you don't get paid for 5 o'clock. You get paid for done. And so when my dad always was like, you are done when you're done. So I don't know how to be any different. So I've been this way my whole life, but it's like that in business. You get paid. Like I have such a model for making a ton of money online. And it is it is so easy. Like if someone wants to make about $300,000 to $400,000 a year, you literally just have to do this. It is almost a guarantee. Most people won't do it because they go, yeah, but that's a lot of work. Do you like the freedom that money gives you? Because that's what you're buying. Your time, you're trading your time for freedom. But the idea that, to come back to the TRT, is that's cheating? Is that makes you unhealthy? What it does is turns you back into the man you're supposed to be because it's low by all the toxins and crap we have in our environment, the garbage we're eating, breathing, drinking. Like, holy shit, the stuff we put in our body is astronomically bad. And I can't even process how willingly our society, and what I mean is the big box people that own a lot of things, how willingly they choose to poison the population for their own gain. I don't even know how to get my head around that. I grew up on a farm. I would never do that to somebody. I would give somebody good food. I'd give somebody good clean water, good air, and I'd make them work till their fingers bled. That's okay, because that's what my dad did. But it goes back to what I said. You get paid for done, right? Your body, like I look at you, you're fit, you're strong, chiseled out, crazy fitness. You're getting paid by your fitness for done, not shorting reps and not doing 10-minute workouts like these guys. Do you have like a half-hour workout I could do? No. I have a 1-hour workout you can do. Well, what if I don't have an hour? Then don't train with me. Like people modify. That's the other thing with the fitness industry. They modify their programs for the client versus demanding that the client modify up, right? They modify down. And I go, well, you're just catering. You're pandering to what they already know what to do, which is be lazy. And it's not a jerk thing to say. It's that if people go, I don't even scale workouts for people anymore. I don't do fitness anymore. I just have a program. It just happens to have fitness in it, but I'm not a fitness trainer anymore because I just don't want to. Too many people are like, this is too hard. Do the work. It drives me crazy. But I go, here's my workout. Well, I can't do all that stuff. You have an hour. I demand an hour of your time. You cram as much of that workout into that hour as you possibly can. You stop moving when the timer stops at 60. That's what I tell people. And they go, well, what if I can't do a pull-up? Do as many as you can. Why can't even do one? You fight for one until you are bleeding and then move on to the next thing. You know what's going to happen? Eventually you can do a pull-up. Oh no. Right? Like it's like well, what about bands? What about pull-down machines? Did I say to do that? No? Okay. I like you, but shut up and do what I told you to do. And that's how I'm just harsh. And I'm not for everybody. I also don't try to be for everybody. But if you're going to train with me, I train every day. If you want to get my results, you have to do what I do, right? Like people don't like, you want my results, do what I do. Well, I'm not there yet. Neither was I. 1 hour every day. You fit everything you've got into that hour. And a month from now, you will be further ahead. But people go, well, I want to scale my workout down so it's easier. Oh, that's what you want. You don't
because we're always looking for the easy route.
You want easy. See, people go, well, that doesn't work for me. No, you don't work for you. Right?
Why I think it's fascinating why, in my opinion, like mainstream media, the governments, everything is softening people to get easier, weaker, and work less hard, in my opinion, so that society can always be more controlled. And they want less people like you, like me, all the people who listen to this, who a bit two fingers to the world, fuck everyone else. I want to do my own thing. And the thing is, I want to bend the world to my will of what I want to do, rather than be manipulated by everyone else.
Love it. Yep, you're absolutely right. Because I think the world is simply, if you want to distill it down to the most easy way to understand the world, it's cause and effect, right? Thoughts are causative, effects are things, right? And that's how our life is. And I think and the fact that this is what people do, they go that they want to justify. They go, well, it's not really how it is. You can't create everything with a single thought. Yes, you can. Because I can make proof all day. This was a thought, but yet now it's a material thing. I went and got in my car. I drove to Starbucks. I bought a coffee. And the ripple effect is that there were so many things that had to occur for me to get this. They all began as a single thought. But if you have cause and effect in the world, well, they're trying to make the cause. They're trying to get people to think that they have to be lazy because it's easier, that they get the same results for doing nothing. And yet they know they don't, which is why people are getting bitter and angry, because they're creating subgroups within the world, right? Like a country aligned is a very dangerous country. A society aligned, a culture aligned is a very, very dangerous, uncontrolled. You cannot manipulate them because their mindset, like the easiest way to become manipulated is to allow yourself to become manipulated by believing what people say about how you have to do very little. When you do the hard things, the shitty things, the ugly things, the uncomfortable things, regardless of what's going on in the world, you are almost impossible to control because you are only doing what I said at the beginning. You're removing all the options and only doing the one thing that gets you to where you want to go. But I think what happens because of cause and effect is that if you change your thinking, the results will take care of themselves. I really believe that. And I think what they're doing is they're not changing what people do. They're changing what people think. And then the byproduct is what they do becomes significantly less. And this is what people say, well, that doesn't work for me. You can't really control your thoughts. That doesn't work for me. And it's such a wonderful thing when people say that, because you can prove right there on the spot that it does work. Because you go, wait a minute, it doesn't work for you. And that's what you think. And your life is a dumpster fire. You just proved that it works. Because what you're thinking is that thinking doesn't work to change your life. So you choose to think like an imbecile, and your life is a dumpster fire. You just proved the point. But it's like lifting weights. Like controlling your thoughts is surprisingly difficult because the human being has about 60,000 thoughts a day, and most of them are negative. And most of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday. So you run these on repeat all the time, and you wonder why your life sucks. Well, you have to sit down. One day I sat there in bed. It was probably about 2 a.m, Charlie. And I started thinking, I just went, I'm going to control everything in my head right now. And I controlled like I could see and hear that, you know how if you've ever driven on a gravel road real slow with big fat tires, and you just hear the gravel going bing, 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 popping out from underneath the fat tires. And I could hear my car driving down this long gravel driveway where we're building this house. And I could hear it. I was driving down so, and I saw myself opening. The house isn't even done yet. I saw myself opening the door, what it looked like inside. It took me 4 hours to get control of my thinking because I kept getting interrupted by myself. And people go, well, not everybody can control your thoughts. Yes, you can. You're so used to turning the keys over to everything else around you. But you have to obsess on what you want, and that's all you see. And the universe and the world will bend to you. But you have to be so steadfast and be willing to take the punches, and most people aren't. Like, I'm willing to take a punch.
I think too many people, they give up way too fast. Something doesn't work, they stop. And like the three most important things I think everyone needs is being like relentless, resilient, and then just literally just need to have that will in terms of being resourceful. If there's a problem, you'll figure it out and you'll find the solution. And it's the same thing in terms of people say they don't have enough money to invest in their business. Well, it's clearly not important enough to you to then actually take
that's so good. That's so good, because it's the truth. And what people, I love that, because they will find money to go buy a new phone for $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. But if you go, hey, I got this program, I got this, and you're going to sit with me, and it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be work, and it's $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, it doesn't matter what, it's $1,000. No, I don't have that money. Do you have a payment plan? Do you have a $39 program? And my answer is always, do you have a $39 life? You want the $1 million results. Like I saw Marina War, Eric War's wife. Do you know who Eric War is? He's a like an MLM guy. I think he's a multi-level marketing, or he's really, really successful, and he's a very good salesman. I like the guy. Some people don't like him. I really like. But his wife, Marina, she spent $250,000 in one day for a mentor, to spend 8 hours with a mentor. And I put it into my community. I use Mighty Networks, right? So I put it into my Mighty Networks community, and I said, listen, most of you guys are going to go, well, yeah, if I had 250 grand, I would do that too. It's easy if you have the money. And then I went on to go, she borrowed every dime to do that. She didn't have the money. But she knew, see, here's what a mentor does. Like, I already know if you and I hung out and we spent the day together and we just had somebody follow us around, that is $100 million day for other people. And it's not saying it to be cocky and arrogant. It's because our mindset is very similar, and we're two sides of the same coin. And we both talk about the same thing. And I think people would get so much value out of that. Like, actually, now that I'm thinking about that, we should do something together, because I think we would just
fly to Texas.
Oh, dude, I'm thinking about coming there, man. Like, we got to talk about that too. So it's like lots of this, and I'm serious. I wasn't kidding. Like, we're like this, and that's a whole other conversation. But it's the idea that you can you build a time machine. Like, when someone gets into your brain, and let's say you've been doing this over a decade, right?
Yes, 7, 8 years, long time.
Okay, so I'll just even use 10 years just for a number. So if you've been doing it for 10 years, and then I go, okay, Charlie you want to mentor with Charlie? You want to spend the day with Charlie? Charlie's $250,000 for the day. And you know what people do? They go, oh yeah, must be nice. But you, as the mentor, aren't going, must be nice. You're going, I'm going to give you all I got. And you're going to come out of that with $25 million worth of information, but you're also going to come out with the tools to change your entire damn life, because you just have to listen to everything I say. That's all you got to do. I'm going to collapse 10 years of your life into 1 year. And that's what people miss. And when I posted that into my Mighty Networks, I had people go, well, yeah, it must be nice, but like, you have to have the money first. And I said she had to borrow it. And I said, you see, you guys are missing the point. If you can buy time, there's no greater investment. No greater investment. And that's what coaches do. That's what trainers do. That's what mentors do, is they allow you to buy time. And yet the world is, dude, how many people are apparently coaches online that should not be? Like, I think 99% of the people on here are just like blithering idiots. It hurts. It hurts.
And this is a good topic to go into. So I think, in my opinion, like, the secret for me being successful is I found the person who did the thing I wanted to do. I paid them. I execute the thing as quickly as possible. But what I see now is there's so many like false prophets who are trying to teach what they've never done. So they're trying to stand up in front of the class and teach, but they can't actually do the thing themselves. Yeah,
they've never done it. I made a post like that. I said, hey, coaches, trainers, mentors, all of you guys, you have to do the shit before you teach people how to do the shit. just so we're clear. And it went nuclear, and I got so much hate for it from people. And I thought, good, because I said the right thing. But it's like I have a guy right now. He's the nicest guy, but he's got kind of a dad bod. And I went, nobody's going to buy your stuff. And he's like, well, but like I resonate with moms. I'm like, let me help you. Okay. I love my wife, and I think my wife is so ridiculously hot. It's unbelievable. And she is so chopped up. She looks like a 25-year-old fitness model. And it's funny because I say that and people are like, yeah, I'm like, it's okay. You can say my wife is hot. She's freaking gorgeous. So what? I think that's a compliment, not an insult, my opinion. Right. But the other thing is that she works very hard. She trains harder than anybody I've ever seen. Harder than me sometimes. Like if she wanted to go toe to toe in the gym with me, I would get dusted by her all day long. She's a machine. And I think she never had to worry when she was a trainer about getting a client. And her clients, she worked at 24-Hour Fitness. Her clients were all the corporate people. Like it's such a wild thing that the people that ran the company went to my wife. And it's because she was a real coach. She went, you're not going to do what I say? Okay. Call me when you are. And she would leave. She would walk away from you. She was the coach. She wasn't the friend, right? It's like kids. Like we have 2 kids. I love my children. I will die. I would John Q myself to give them a heart. I really would. But I'm also not here to be their friend. I'm here to go, listen, you little punk ass, do what I tell you to do. Because I'm trying to make you harder and tougher and more savage so you can go out and run this world the right way. And I think people are like, well, well, what little Tommy's going to be upset? Screw little Tommy and being upset, make little Tommy tougher. But it comes back to this where I was like, it's become so tolerated that you can be average, but demand exceptional. But you can't. If I was, this is the best. If I was still, and I mean, if I, God forbid, I was still in the same condition I was when I rolled out of the hospital, I was sitting here in a wheelchair by choice. I have to say that because somebody's going to be like, oh, well, that means no, doesn't mean you're a bitch. It means if I chose to stay here and take handfuls of medication and be all fat and I probably wouldn't have made it, to be honest. If I would have listened to them, I wouldn't be here. And if I would have done all the things they told me to do, and yet I'm going to tell you how to be successful and have a great marriage and a great mindset and a great life and be fit, but I'm not that, I got no business standing here. None. And that's what happens. And so this guy has a dad bod. He's like, I don't get any. Nobody looks at my stuff. Nobody's buying my things. I've been in your program for 6 months, and it's just nothing's really happening. But yet you gave me a glowing review about how you started selling online because you made money. It's because you stopped doing the hard work and you're lazy. And you have love handles. Nobody's going to buy your stuff. I don't know how else to say it. It's not meant to be mean. I played hockey like forever. I played hockey and I fought. Right? Like I was a fighter. I've been rolling for almost 15 years. I've been a fighter forever. It's just how I grew up in the country. It's all we did was fight. And so if I got onto the mat and I've never rolled a day in my life, and I find like Gracie, I rolled with Crossley Gracie is the guy that taught me all my stuff. And I got on there with Crossley and I'm like, all right, let's go for it. And I got my ass beat every single time. And then I go, can I teach your class tomorrow? He's going to look at me and go, are you high? You suck. No.
But this is what's happening.
Fuck, this is all that's happening.
I'll give you a good
the idiots. I think everybody should have to show their tax returns. I said it yesterday. I said, you know what? And it's public knowledge. Just for all of you guys listening, tax returns in the United States are public knowledge. Go request it. And if your trainer, your coach who's going to tell you how to make a bunch of money doesn't want to show you how much they made, don't listen to them. I have no problem. I'll show you a bank account. I'll show you my tax returns. And I don't care because I make money. Just ask. You know what? If they're like, well, do you have abs? I'll be all, bam. Now what? Like, fuck, I know what I'm doing. But yet people now, this is what you see from here up. But you can fake a Lambo. You can fake a jet. You can fake a yacht. You can fake a watch up to a point till you got to give it back to your buddy that you borrowed it from or whatever. Like, you can do all that. But you know what you can't fake? Long-term results. You can't fake a body. You can't fake a marriage. You just can't. You'll get exposed.
And this is what's funny. I did a podcast actually speaking about this, and it had a clip taken out of it. And I specifically referred to a gym in the UK. And I mentioned all the personal trainers in there were fat, maybe slight exaggeration, maybe 80% of them. And someone made a reel talking about me fat shaming personal trainers. And I was like, good. Because the reality is that was coming from a place of kindness for me, because you're shit at your job and not making money because you're out of shape and you've got a muffin top. So the reality is, if you actually took yourself seriously and fixed yourself, you will make way more money, help more people, and change your life. But no one else is willing to be truthful and tell you that.
No, you're absolutely right. People are afraid of the truth, yet I would much rather, and I said this, I said, if you take, because the world is so, well, you have to be tactical with how you tell people. No, sometimes you just need to hear,
you gotta be
you're fat, you're broke, your marriage is garbage, your mindset is terrible, and then you have to follow it with one more statement. I'll help you. But shit talking somebody doesn't help anybody. But trash talking somebody and then giving them the solution is the best thing you can do for somebody. But you know what happens is, like, they go, if you take 30 to 40 days to tell somebody that they're overweight and you're trying to tactic and soft and you're planting hints and you're putting out little notes and you're like just stupid things. And you're like, well, listen, like Charlie, maybe you ever think about going to the gym? Yeah. You ever think about, like,
maybe you shouldn't have the dessert?
Maybe, like, how about we don't have that today? What about, you ever try carrot sticks? Like whatever dumb things that come out of your mouth, versus going, dude, Charlie, we've been friends for like 20 years, man. And I grab your belly and I shake it and I go, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're going to the gym tomorrow. You know what people do? Oh, that's so mean. If you take 30 seconds versus 30 days, if you take 30 days to tell someone the truth, you stole a month of their life. You stole it. Take 30 seconds, tell them the truth, and help them out. Everything loves speed. Everything. People just don't want to do it.
And I think that's just because we live in a world where you can't say certain things now. And I remember, I can't remember what it was. I was watching something on Netflix. I think it was actually about Vince McMahon. And they were talking about the things they used to do with, like, the Iron Sheikh coming in, who was like Iranian, and they would beat him up because the Iranian US thing. Can you even fucking imagine if they did that?
Oh, my God.
It would cause, World War III's happening, but it would cause it again. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, it would. I look at, 51 years old, right? So 51 years old, I look at the things like, even dumb things like my dad, when he was still alive, when he was a kid, they played cowboys and Indians. That would be so, you're racist. Like, you're not racist. That's reenacting history, you dumb shit. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing that people get upset and offended by things that have no business. Like, first of all, if you're offended, that's on you. If you're triggered, that's on you. You're complicit. That has nothing to do with me. Nobody can make you feel anything without your permission, and yet people go, well, it's your fault. You're hurting my feelings. So let me get this straight. Your feelings are my fault, which means my answer is always the same. I go, dude, I'm like a Jedi. I can control you. This is awesome. So I can control your feelings. And it goes right back to what I said, where I went, your thoughts create your environment. So therefore, if they can control your feelings, they can control the ecosystem. Change the feelings, change the results. And it always works the same, right? I look at the way life is, and it's a very simple formula. And I wrote this down one day, and I said, you have three things you have to look at. You have to go, okay, your emotions come from what you focus on. So if you base your life on emotions, you're screwed. You're screwed, because you will be very impulsive. It goes back to, and let me go one step further. You either have to go, like, if you ask, what is the reaction I want, right? Like, let's say I want somebody to buy something, right? What is the reaction I want? I want them to purchase my program. What is the reaction I want? I want to be fit. What is the reaction I want? I want to sleep with my wife. What is the reaction I want? You have to go, what is the reaction I want? Then you have to go, what is the action that causes that reaction? And what people do instead is they go, here is an action that occurred. How am I going to react? And so they run down this river of life, bumping into things, constantly reacting, and they become this bundle of conditioned responses and behaviors, wondering why their life sucks because they're not in control. They're allowing their circumstances to control them. When all they had to do is go, what is the reaction I want? If the reaction I want is this, like it's you. You're like, okay, the podcast is going to be at 8 a.m. at Central on Thursday. What is the reaction I want? I want the podcast to start at 8 a.m. Central on Thursday. And so what did you do? What was the action taken? Hey, Spartan, do you want to do a podcast with me? Hell yeah. Here's the link. boom. Like those are actions taken to give you the reaction versus sitting there in Dubai going, you know, it'd be cool if I had this podcast. I wonder why he hasn't called me yet to do a podcast. You know, I'm not having a podcast. I'm pissed off. The guy didn't invite me to do a podcast, but I never know. Like it's absurd.
And that's where I think you need to create your own opportunities in life. And I think that's the biggest thing most people don't do is they don't take action. They don't ask the question. They don't ask to sell. They don't make the piece of content. They're
afraid.
Do the thing.
They're afraid. And it's not even afraid to fail. They're afraid of being seen to fail by people that don't matter. Because people are, listen, everybody walks around going, what are they going to think? You ain't that important. They're not even thinking about you, man. They're not. I was outside my backyard the other day shooting at a target. I have a target on a hay bale set way out in my yard. So I was out there just hanging over I have this little short fence for my dogs. And I was sitting there leaning over it. And all these people, I just made a story about how my childhood was. I just talked about like cars and things I did when I was little and just like, hey, my life was this. And everybody was like, this is exactly what was awesome. This is what I did. This is like all these people, except one guy. Bro, look like your first time. You're not even holding the gun right. What a goofy way to shoot. Probably looks like your first time. First of all, you're flexing about how rich you are. And now you're trying to flex about how normal you are. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? I'm just sitting out here with a gun. And so like I went back. I used to be the guy that was like, oh yeah, well, fuck you. You know, like I'd just be all pissed off. And now, so for everybody listening that makes content, here's the secret. You want to trigger the shit out of these people. But what I do is I have a one comment rule. I tell all my clients this one comment rule. Give them one comment, back it with something valid. Don't just give them an emotional response because then you look like an idiot. Back it with something valid, poke a hot button really bad, and then never read it again. Let them go nuclear. All it does is push you into the system more, so I don't care. But I'm also not trying to get a bunch of hate. Like there's one guy out there, I won't say who he is, but there's one guy out there. He's very successful, but as at least appears to be, who knows? But I never know anymore. But he gets a ton of hate, man. And I wouldn't want that rep. Like it's not a little bit of hate. It is like almost everything is about how like your wife's a dude and you get tons of hate and all like, it's just this wild thing. And I'm going, but I wouldn't, that's not the attention I want. It's okay because people go haters or fans. Yeah. But if 90% of your feed are people hating on you, they're not buying your stuff. They're not. They're just not. You know, I would rather have nobody. I love when people go, well, you have a big account. That's why you're successful. I got a client right now. He's got 409 people. Last month, he made $247,000. Yeah. Must be the size of the account. And you know who Frank Kern is, right?
Yeah.
Frank, I mean, he's like Dan Kennedy. Frank Kern's funny, man. He's just a funny dude. That guy made over $40 million in a year 2 years ago. You ever look at his posts? 1 comment, 4 likes. Like nobody looks at his stuff. Do you know why? Because he does exactly what you and I said we do. Targeted ads. The days of organic marketing are gone. Gone. Thinking that you can make a post going, I'm looking for 7 people. Remember when we used to kill it on those posts?
That was so easy.
Holy shit. Nobody understands. Fuck. I love that you said that. Damn it. Another F-bomb. I was like, it was so great. I would make these posts like 3.5 years ago. I'm looking for 5 people and I'd get like 150 people and I would cycle through. They would all buy. Like I would make 200 grand like this. And it was almost too easy. And I think that's the problem is people got used to that.
And I think anything that's too easy will never last. So, like from my experience now, as soon as I see anything like that, like there was something I had the other month similar, I know it's got a shot window of like 2-3 months maybe.
Yep, you bang on it. I tell people just bang on it, bang on that drum till it breaks. People get caught in their own. Going back to that one guy we were talking about at the beginning, they get caught in how they've done things for so long that when change comes along, they resist change because they go, my way's better, but your way's dated. See, while everybody else is trying to make a faster horse, Henry Ford just went, I'm going to invent a car. Right? And I think that's where people screw up. I'm not big into AI. I got nothing against it. I also know, just for all you guys listening, AI doesn't exist yet. Just so we're clear, AI is self-awareness. Like you want to think like Skynet, August 29th, like all that stuff. That's not existing yet. It is not having cognitive thought. You know what AI is? AI is access to the world's largest library to produce the answer. AI is a system set up to dig through all the answers and put together the best response based on an algorithm. It's not AI. And yet people are like, oh, AI is going to take over the world. We're not even close. Like, and that's where people are screwed up. You're just literally taking the jobs of 1,000 people and cramming it into one person. And that one person does it infinitely faster than you. That's what you're doing. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care.
Trevor, you've been selling. How long have you been selling stuff online for?
Oh, God, almost 10 years.
Okay, so you would agree with me that the cycles and things change. One of the things I see is very prevalent that some people are super set in their ways and stagnant and think that because maybe they were the first to certain markets, like whether it's fitness coaching, business coaching, whatever, that they deserve to have all the clients because I've done X, Y, Z. Whereas like the most innovative people are the people who are going to win because the game is moving so fast now in terms of what works and what doesn't, in my opinion.
Yep. That you're absolutely right. That goes back to the entitlement. I've been doing this. That's like going, okay, listen, I've been throwing a football. I'm the quarterback. I've been the best. I've been the best for the last 5 years. I deserve to keep playing. Yeah, but this new guy from college just came out who throws a football like it's got an eyeball on it, and he throws it faster, better, and he can take a hit, and you can't. This person deserves more money. Why? Because they play the game better than you. But they're new. They don't have my seniority. But they play it better than you. This is such a great thing because here's what people, this is so good. People come in and most people, there's the difference between the 1% and the 99%. Everybody hears this and everybody gets upset. That's the 99%. The 1% go, yeah, that's right. Because the 1% began as the 99%. And the best part is this. They want all of this stuff, but most people, the 99%, come into whatever career it is, year one, and they just come on like gangbusters. And 10 years later, they're doing exactly what they did in year one. They're still doing the same thing. They've never changed. And yet they go, I deserve more, but you're doing less. So when people like the seniority thing, nope, I got nothing for you. If somebody goes, well, I have seniority in my company, I should get paid more. Yeah, but why? Because you're here? If anything, you should pay me because you've been sucking the life out of my company. And that's exactly it. They have the seniority. They think seniority has value. Seniority has no value. None. Seniority has no value. Time served has no value. Results have value. The end. If the results are better from somebody that's been doing it for 20 minutes and they're valuable, they're worth more money.
And it's because we live on an economic planet, and that's where capitalism is the fairest system.
Yep. You get paid, goes back to what I said, you get paid for done. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I was like, people make these knee-jerk reactions based on their emotion. But it's because they're focusing on the wrong thing, right? Like if you change what you're focusing on, you will change what you feel. You change what you feel, your actions change, your results change. But people go, I'm going to focus over here on what I wish I had, but why I don't. And I'm going to justify why I don't and validate and be all angry about it, which makes me pissed off, my emotions, which makes me take dumb actions. And I go in and I drop hate, or I come up with excuses, or I sit and I watch Netflix while eating bags of friggin' Doritos all day. And then my results are I'm fat, sloppy, and broke and hating the world and blaming it for my lack of results. When all I had to do was imagine they're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to, oh, look, the Spartan's doing this. This guy came out of the hospital broke. This guy came out of the hospital, knobby knees all weak and on missing a lung, and he changed his whole life. Oh, look, I'm going to do what he does. Oh, look, here's Charlie. He changed from being a fitness trainer to being a very successful business coach. Maybe I should do what he does. But no, they go, I see these guys and I go, well, screw them. Well, they're probably gaming the system. Yeah, it's the game. It starts with W and ends in irk. Work. Like it's they want the reaction, right? The reaction is the success, but they're not willing to take the action. So they focus on, if you change your focus, everything changes. Change your focus, your emotions change. And even then, who gives a shit about your emotions? Change your focus, the emotions slide in, you change your action, you get better results. And that's practice.
Yeah, and that's how you change life. I think that's a good point to wrap up on. Where's the best place for people to find out more about each other?
Smashworks, SMASHWERX.com. You can see me on Instagram. That'll help you a ton. You know what? I have my cell numbers on there. Like literally just anywhere on social media. If you type in Trevor Bachmeyer, you type in the Spartan, type in Smashworks, RX, not RK. You'll find me everywhere.
Easy. Big thank you for your time. Everyone took a ton of value from this. Make sure you drop any comments on the video. if you take a screenshot of this and share it to your stories, you tag me, I will share this all over social media. I'm sure Trevor will do as well.
Absolutely.
There's a ton of value in it. So big thank you to everyone watching it. Big thank you to Trevor. And we'll see you next episode soon.